Hello everybody and welcome back to the Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations walkthrough. It is time to finish off the second day of investigation for a recipe for Turnabout and just something is really going badly wrong with the computers here in the Criminal Affairs Department. So, spill the beans, Gumshoe, we want to know. And, yeah, virus is not good, especially if it's ripping through the entire system, especially the Criminal Affairs Department system. Like, that is really bad. Because obviously there's a lot of confidential information in those. So that's really not good. And yeah, you see, told you that Tenderlander was really rough. And, what about this Lady Gumshoe? I have a feeling I know who the said lady is, but first off, let's talk about computer viruses. Because this is something that's I've always found slightly fascinating. Is that the Ace Attorney franchise it's based in the future, but it's also very heavily based in the late 90s, early noughties. Because, I mean, if you look at the size of these computer screens, like, we're talking around that era of computer. You've got people who don't know what a computer virus is. Mobile phones are pretty new thingamajigs. And also they're brick mobile phones rather than smartphones. There are some very high-tech things throughout the franchise, but on the whole it's still very early noughties in terms of how people talk about technology, and that makes a lot of sense in terms of if the game was meant to take place in the same time period, but ultimately it doesn't. It's meant to take place in the future, which is just bizarre. So, ultimately the way it goes down is that So the way that everyone's works things out is that the murder of Gregory Edgeworth is recorded as having occurred on December the 28th, 2001, by the statute of limitations on an unsolved case being closed permanently 15 years after its opening. The final resolution of the incident would be December the 28th, 2016, which constructs a timeline of the Ace Attorney universe. So, basically, well, actually, the Ace Attorney Wiki has an entire timeline of everything that goes on. So, Nick's first case is so basically, Turnabout Beginnings is 2014, and on April 11th, that is when the trial of Phoenix Wright for the murder of Doug Swallow takes place. And August the 3rd, 2016 is when Nick would make his court debut. So if we actually look at 2017, so the things that would happen in 2017, it's basically we are currently in Justice for All territory for this year. So in February we would have, I believe it's Rise from the Ashes, the trial of Lana Skye for the murder of Bruce Goodman. We would then have in June the trial of Maya Fey for Turner Gray's murder. We would then have in September the trial of Maggie Bird for Dustin Prince's murder. And in December we would have trial of Max Galactica for Russell Berry's murder. And it wouldn't be until early 2018 that you get the trial of Matt on Guard for Juan Corrida's murder. And the way, so basically we're looking at 2018, so next year is when quite a lot of Trials and Tribulations takes place, because October 2018 is when Kane Bullard is murdered by Luke Acme, and we get the stolen Turnabout case. And then we move into 2019, which is when this particular trial is taking place. And the final case for the game would be taking place not long after this, actually. And if you look, so the furthest the timeline goes at present is 2028. So that's how far into the future the franchise has gone. But it's kind of funny that they were creating something that was essentially set only like just over, well, nearly 2 decades away. And the technology wasn't any more advanced than what they had at the time, which is kind of ridiculous, if you ask me. Like, if you're going to set anything in the future, you've got to try and at least come up with some form of futuristic technology. You're not always going to get it. You're not going to get it right, for certain. But it's useful to at least try. And also, I think I got a little bit lost trying to get to places. I couldn't remember where I could get to places from. I thought I could get to Blue Screens Inc. from anywhere, but no, I had to go to Tribulations to get there. But come on, Lisa. You are gonna give us the goods, Duck. Because apparently Glenn Elk had some trouble. I think we've probably already figured out what it is, considering all of those losing tickets to the horses that were found in his desk. But really, we need to get Lisa to properly tell us what the hell's going on. Because then we've got a little bit of testimony, and that helps out a ton. But yeah, as you can see, we are very quickly coming to the end of this phase of this investigation phase, because we've picked up quite a lot of information right now. Because we've been waiting on taking down Lisa Basil's Cyclops for quite a bit of time now. Obviously, I think we gained it at the start of this investigation phase, and we're now at the end. So it's been a bit of a while, but we've gotten everything that we physically need to, and basically, Glenn had a gambling addiction. This is plain to see. I don't know why we need to properly break Lisa Basil to get this information, because we basically already have it. As I said, testimony would probably help, but she doesn't seem like the type of person who would be willing to divulge. Then actually, she will hopefully answer a few suspicions, because Glenelg probably had something to do with Furio Tigre. And, I mean, we've got the proof that they knew each other, because it's on Glenn's calendar. So, come on, Duck. Just give us the info that we require, and then this will all be absolutely fine. I'm trying to get someone off for murder here. Be helpful, goddamn you! This is the thing that I don't get with quite a few of the people we talk to throughout the Ace Attorney franchise, is this is a situation where a murder conviction and a guilty verdict is it's a death sentence. If you are found guilty of murder, you will die. So I don't know why people aren't a bit more forthcoming with that information. Obviously, often they are trying to protect themselves, but it's just like there is no real reason for Lisa Basil to withhold this information from us, because effectively it could save someone's life. Like, it could really save someone's life, so why would you not just give it to us? And, so it's all coming together right now. MC Bomber is worth several millions of pounds. And December 3rd was when he needed to pay back his debts. So I think it's time to head on over to Tenderlender, because I think we've probably got enough to break the psych lock on Miss Viola Cadaverini. And whilst we're here talking to Viola with her 4 psych locks, which is quite a lot actually. If you remember me talking about Victor Kudo being the eldest living character that we had met in the franchise up to that point, Bruto Cadaverini is, I think, officially the oldest character in the franchise up to that point, but obviously we never actually physically meet him, and therefore that is why the honour goes to Victor Kudo. And yes, we are going to get to the bottom of that creepy ass head bandage. And so that there's the car accident, which, I mean, to be fair, we already know about because Gumshoe told us about it, but she's related to Bruto Cadaverini, who is the mafia boss. And I do feel that it's quite fitting that her real surname is based on the word cadaver, because a cadaver is a corpse, which is generally used in medical usage, or when it's intended for dissection. So you've got that mixture of cadaver and the Italian sounding thing that comes from the Eni, which it works quite well, I feel, especially considering her apparent like of raw meat, which is just disgusting. And, yeah, Duck, it was Dante Gray. And, well, he might not necessarily have been injured in the incident. His blooming scooter was. Like, that thing is busted to high heaven. I'm surprised that he works, especially if it was involved in such an accident. But there we go. Clearly Viola was trying to be careful and it didn't quite work out. And looks like she's been being a little bit delusional. So she thought that Furio T. Gray did this out of the goodness of his own heart. I don't really think so. No. No. The real reason he paid for that operation was because of her grandfather. Because he was scared out of his mind about getting done in by Bruto. So, yeah. That's why he paid $1 million. And then it all begins to make a bit more sense as to why he was so desperate to... Well, why MC Bomber is there in his office, worth several millions. Why he was trying to get all of his loans back. From Glenelg and so on and so forth. So, yeah. And in compensation, eh? So, yeah, pay or die, essentially. Which, I mean, it's a ridiculous amount of money. It's a ridiculous amount of money. But it's the granddaughter of a mafia boss. You're gonna do anything you can to get that money paid for. And oh, I feel so bad for Viola. She just gets seriously screwed over in the just all of it. And yeah, there's only a few little things about Viola. Obviously it's an Italian-inspired name which references the mafia, and it's derived from the Latin word for violets, and in the language of flowers, blue violets can represent love or faithfulness, and white violets can represent candour, innocence, or modesty. Also, a viola is a string instrument similar to a violin, and they are often used to give music a melancholy feel, which references Viola's music quite fittingly. And, I mean, her Japanese name is Urami Shikabane. Shikabane coming from the Japanese word for corpse, and Urami meaning a grudge, which all quite fits. But, oh dear. Furio T. Gray is here, as is Mr. Armstrong, and, no! We're not giving you the bloody medical papers. We worked hard for those, goddammit you. well, no. She actually does have power because she's Bruto's granddaughter. And yeah, you're gonna pay for everything that you've done. And oh, Mr. Armstrong. Spineless asshole. Like, seriously, we could free you from this loan shark because he'll be in prison and dead, and you won't have to necessarily worry about paying the money back because Tenderlander might go under. Ultimately, it doesn't, but that's not the point. And good old Gumshoe here to save the day for once, because normally he's coming in when we're standing over a dead body that we've just found, and he thinks that we did it. Clearly, that's always wrong. But, like, seriously, he came in at just the nick of time. I do quite like this case because it gives Gumshoe a chance to be a hero, and he's deserved that for a long time. But yes, we're going to take Furio Tigre down in court. So, let's head on to the finale of this case. Woo!